Solid Gold, starring Marilyn McCoo, with Solid Gold recording stars Kim Carnes, the Oak Ridge Boys, Waylon Flowers and Madam, the Solid Gold Dancers, and very special guest, Soldier Boy.
All right, go ahead and get this going here. So, thanks for bearing with me. I'm starting a little late. I had to set up this super fancy, totally not stock photo thumbnail here. So, go ahead and wait for a few people to settle in while I get everything ready to rock. How do you like this thumbnail that I threw together in 5 minutes? Pretty happy with it. I think the watermarks really make it. That's for me at least. All right. Now I just got to make a post about this event here in the. I'll ask my associate, the quality UNU representative Derek Amundsen, to make a post about this event. I guess I should say. There we go. Derek Amundsen, thankfully, has allowed me to make this request. It's very generous of him. For some reason, it's still showing the old thumbnail on the Discord preview, but hey, that doesn't really matter. So, got this all ready to rock and roll. Let's go ahead and... Oh, wow, there's actually quite a few people watching. That is honestly a bit surprising and flattering. I thought it would be like the usual Laura and Ender keeping everything going. All right, Under the Straight says first. Technically, yes, you are first. I appreciate the grind. Right on time is when the stream started. Actually, me talking took a little longer. All right. I'm glad Christopher Columbus likes the starting music. I'm a big fan of The Boys. Just watched season 3, and that bit, my siblings and I have been singing that to each other quite a lot. All right. Oh yeah, always got the keyboard noises when I'm typing up in chat. But all right. Yeah, I mean it's pretty crazy having 1 million downloads on UNU. I started making content for Minecraft back in 2013 for Flans mod, and I mean that content was rough. It was pretty solid for Flans mod, I got to admit, but it was pretty rough. So, while people are coming up with their pressing questions, I guess I might as well share some of that Flans mod backstory. Let's see. So I got this right here. A boom. Yeah, Christopher Columbus. Yeah, I mean that song is it's because it's a Blondie song, I think from the 90s called Rapture. And so wait, when was that song? When did it come out? Okay, it was released in 1980, so that corresponds with the line. But yeah, I mean it's an actual line from an actual Blondie song who I mean, she's a pretty big artist, not gonna lie. Oh, glad Atis likes the wallpaper. Yeah. So this is a wallpaper. So this picture that is my desktop background. This is a picture from outside of Las Vegas. They would test atom bombs and outside, in the desert, and people would actually go out and watch them. They would go out and watch the atom bombs being tested. So this is a picture from that. That's where there's all the cars and everything. Is people would go out and, oh look, the atom bomb. I think it was called, like, they had like a specific name for it. But yeah, it's a trip. All right. So I'll go ahead and start all. So this is how I make Flansmod content. So there are these like test environments that you can run. Oh, and this one failed. So let me try slightly newer than 1.10. Let's go all the way to 1.12. But yeah, I mean, it all started with my Flansmod content, and yeah, I mean, to think that it's gone from some dead, like, I was a B-lister over at Flansmod. Like, there were a few people that liked my content. It was pretty decent, but it was nothing even close to what UNU became, and even back then, it wasn't even UNU. So if I could pull up, this is where I got the quality celebration background. So I actually got Flansmod right here. And well, actually, I'm curious if the original website is still up. This is the website where the SMP. Oh, look at that! It just goes right to the store where you could buy the SMP modeling toolbox. That's funny. All right, let's see if it'll. Yeah, okay. So I guess the main website is gone. But hey, this is the software I use. All right. So this is Flansmod website. So if you actually go to content packs, my original pack actually made it to the second page, which is pretty cool. It's actually not even on the bottom; it's halfway up. So I've got 26,000 downloads on my original pack. This has seen a lot of evolution over time. But yeah, and then I've also got the Blackthorn packs. There's somewhere in here. Are they on page 3? There's the iconic movie vehicles. But yeah, I mean, UNU really has come a long way. And then there's the Blackthorn Civilian pack with the Corvair and the Volkswagens. Yeah. Last updated 2019. I'll eventually update my Flansmod packs. I still make my models with Flansmod in mind so that I could go back and update them. No idea when I will. So loading up, I want to start off where the journey began. I was coming up with thought-provoking questions. FurryCon Labs Incorporated Earth says, "What's up, Doctor? What's up, FurryCon Labs Incorporated Earth? How are things going?" Zuzi Uzi saying hi. They're always in the live stream. Glad you could join for this very special occasion. I guess there's no worlds here, huh? Interesting. I'll have to load up my. I always test on this one specific world. So let me see. There we go, saves. Yeah, weird. Maybe I tested on 1.8? Oh, okay, maybe it's 1.8 that I tested on. These are all the thumbnails for my various videos that I made. I save them all. I save everything. Oh, I'm glad FurryCon likes the helicopter. Yeah, that helicopter model is 100% cactus. No, I don't think I even tweaked that model at all. The model is 100% cactus. Texture was mostly cactus. I fixed a couple small things, and then of course made the colors and all that, and made a template texture based on his he has a very deliberate texture style, which is really cool. Honestly, Cactus's textures surpass UNU. That's one place where UNU could definitely improve. But yeah, that Huey is 100% Cactus's work in terms of the visuals, and then I just hacked some JSON together. One really cool feature with that helicopter is if you press B, which is the brake, it automatically sets the throttle to a hovering position, because MTS helicopters don't hover very easily. UNU innovates, makes you can't. I'm gesturing with my hands. I realize you can't see that. UNU innovates. UNU's always ahead of the curve on that. But yeah, these are all the thumbnails I've created, all the way to my terabyte SMP days. Yeah, everyone's all the OGs know terabyte SMP. Come on, you got the prank videos and the Fountain of Despair. Everybody loves terabyte SMP. The final episode was me electrogliding into the side of a cliff, and I died. Railcraft tutorials. Oh yeah, these bring back memories. So many good videos out there. Many more that have yet to be published, like this. I never finished that video, unfortunately. I have like a whole plan with the UNU tutorial series. Unfortunately, it's so what I was gonna do is I was gonna record a tutorial for each vehicle. So like, for example, this is the Corsair, the Diplomat, the Rab, the Ferrets, and all that. And each vehicle is gonna get a specific tutorial to tell you everything about that vehicle. And I was gonna do all of them, and then upload them all into one massive tutorial series, but I didn't. And now they're all out of date, so I had to redo them. But you may recognize these thumbnails for things like the parts, like the seats and the wheels and that kind of thing. So they ended up, those ones ended up seeing light. All right, yeah, dang it, that failed too. What the heck? All right, well, I'll try loading up this one. Yeah, Flan's mod is really the beginning of it all. I mean, so I'll just go full backstory mode here for now. UNU began back in 2013 when I launched my. I apologize, I'm a little congested. I have allergies. So UNU began back in 2013 with a friend and I in high school. His Minecraft username was Bzir, Bziir. He and I founded the server together and came up with a lot of the backstory. Unfortunately, once the server was actually launched, he and I didn't really hang out too much, and after a few months of being up, he really didn't have a big role in the server or UNU, which is a bit of a bummer. But yeah, he helped with the very initial stages of planning UNU, and so I've actually got my modeling here. Let's see how UNU got its name. I know I've got like a screen. It's a famous screenshot that I've shared. Background. All the pictures in my modeling toolbox. There we go. Yeah, we love the Red Cliff. All right. So we were playing on an early version of the Edit Minecraft that had the Aether mod, and this was I think before we actually launched. So yeah, it's 2014. Okay, so this is after the server launched. So we launched our server with the idea of it being a post-apocalyptic server, and it was going to be a roleplay server where people created different towns, and then there were the nations of Blackthorn and Redcliffe that were the nations, and they would fight over the towns. This was all used towning. It was a big roleplay thing. Now Blackthorn, I actually let me pull up. It's actually my Dropbox folder. Old Dropbox. There we go. Screenshots. I actually have every single screenshot I've ever taken at Minecraft. Here's my very first screenshot back in 2012 of a combination lock that I made. I was really proud of it. And yeah, I have every single Minecraft screenshot I've ever taken. So what I'm going to try to find here is when I created Blackthorn. Oh, this is already way too late. So yeah, Blackthorn actually started with a vanilla server that Yari and I played on. This was before I played modded, and you know what's hilarious is when I played Zur introduced me into modded. It was like, hey, you should play mods. I'm like, vanilla game's fine. I don't need mods. Like, what are the mods are so lame. The vanilla game's fine. And then I became a mod author. So this was the server that we played on, and it was a townie server, which is really what started my love of townie. Here's me making a redstone hidden door for somebody. What I would do on the server is I would make really crude redstone contraptions for profit. But then we eventually split. So this was the server, the town we were in, and then we started our own town. Let me find that. This is my sister's world. Crispy fries. This is spaceship that I made, and we had a lot of fun on this world. Okay, where's the server with? Huh. Okay, this is a cool town I found. I thought this was after Blackthorn fell. I know I've got screenshots somewhere of Blackthorn, but I guess they're not in here, which is kind of odd. Oh wait, here it is. Yeah, so this is where we founded Blackthorn. So this is where Blackthorn came from. And so it's named after the gym in Pokemon Crystal, which to this day is still my favorite Pokemon game. And Zur decided to add the E to the end because he thought it was fancy. And so this is where Blackthorn came from. And so it's our town in Eternal Realms, which is a server that no longer exists. And it actually, because I was one of the only people who actually knew how to use Townie on the whole server, which it was a pretty big server, but nobody really knew how to use Townie properly. So I created a nation, and when you were in a nation, you got a bonus of 10 town blocks, which is pretty substantial. And so what I would do is I would have people, I would invite towns to join my nation, but then I would have like a nation tax, which would help pay for the nation. And so eventually, Blackthorn became the most powerful nation on the server. So this is the town that we ended up making. This is actually a moderator investigating a griefing that somebody did. But yeah, so this is the town that became of Blackthorn. Unfortunately, the server did go down, and I never got a world download, which is so sad. Yeah, that's where Blackthorn began, and then we made this server. And then we were like, okay, well, we need like a mega corporation. We wanted a mega corporation that kind of sold goods back and forth. And when we were playing the Aether, we saw this UNU on the sheet. We're like, it's UNU. And that is actually where the name UNU began. So some people may already know this. If you've read the fun facts .text in the UNU mod, then you know it. But yeah, this is where UNU began. It was a mega corporation for our role-playing server, and the name and logo was created because of a pattern on the side of a sheep in the Aether mod. If this pattern was upside down, UNU would be called Noon, and yeah, that's straight a bit. The color was because if you actually look up, do I still have? No, okay. So if you actually look up Minecraft color codes, and you actually like pull this up, I picked the color that I thought was closest to the Aether sheep, which was this dark aqua, which is the UNU brand cyan. So this is where the UNU brand color comes from. It's the dark aqua color from Minecraft, and that is it. So I just ran with it, and that shows you the power of branding. All right, let me see if there's any questions. So yeah, I didn't know UNU was in Flans as well. So when I made my Flans mod, originally it was the Dr. Luigi pack, which had a few basic cars, which I'll show off. And then it was the Iconic Vehicles pack, which was my other pack, which only ever had 3 vehicles: the Time Machine, the Ecto 1, and the Ferris Bueller car, the Ferrari. Now, I got into Flans mod modeling because I wanted a Ghostbusters car that to retexture to make a Taint Busters car for the Taint corruption in Thaumcraft. So, in Thaumcraft was on the end of Minecraft server, and we wanted like a Ghostbusters like roleplay thing where you could destroy the Taint. And so I wanted to make the Ghostbusters car in Flansmod, and I was like, hey, is there a Ghostbusters car? And of course there wasn't, and I decided, hey, what if I just made my own? And then I think I actually might have modeling unreleased content. I might have a picture of the original, like, horrible model. No, I don't think so. It was a really bad model. I have it somewhere. I think it's on my laptop. But yeah, it turned out really horrible. So I made some simpler vehicles for the Dr. Professor Luigi pack. Then eventually I made it, and once we came up with UNU and decided that was going to be the company, UNU originally was just to be a military company, but then we made a couple, the theme of the server started changing, and it started to be like, okay, everything's going to be made by UNU. And so I made the Rabbit and the Ferret, which were the first two UNU civilian vehicles. And then I made those for Flansmod, and then I took a break from Flansmod for a while. And then I caught wind of MTS, because someone was like, hey, you should make content for MTS. And I thought Don Bruce reached out to me to make content for MTS, but I guess maybe somebody else did, because he actually didn't. But hey, someone brought me to MTS, and I decided to make some content there. And back when I joined MTS, you couldn't make your own parts. So, like, the Corvair and a few other vehicles, or the starting ones, had to use the Scout engine, and I actually helped. I didn't help code, but I helped conceptualize some of the, like, custom parts that initially rolled out. So, been with MTS a while, and UNU was definitely one of the very first packs. So it's pretty cool. All right. Don't know if it was a thing back when I didn't know MTS was a thing. I would spend hours playing with it. Oh, if I knew it was a thing back when I didn't know MTS was a thing. Oh, and White Falcon retracted his message. Looks like someone wiped their saves folder by accident. Oh, actually, that's right. I didn't wipe it. I have it as a backup. I backed it up somewhere. Like an old or something. Oh well. I don't think I normally use this 1.12 environment, but whatever. But yeah, that sort of rambling, incoherent mess is the genesis of UNU. Spinning Chicken Nugget asks if the helicopter will be able to mount a machine gun. Yes, I plan on adding a machine gun mount to it. I just didn't really get to it by the time I wanted to release it. And I just really wanted to release the pack finally, rather than wait for it to come up with a new update. So this is my testing track. I have tested so many vehicles here. I don't know if the line of... Okay, normally there was a line of vehicles here. I'll have to find my old map. I have it somewhere. I save everything. Do I have my vehicles installed? No, I do not. Okay, this is just a plain Flansmod installation. Weird. Alright, well, I'll figure that one out as I'm rambling. But yeah. Yeah, that's that. What the heck? Alright, let me open up my modeling folder and go to Flansmod. Boink. Flansmod. Okay, yeah, we got backups here. Okay. I'll just try loading this in. See what's up. Because this is all blank. But yeah. So I backed this up. Copy here. Alright, was wondering if the helicopter mount machine guns? Yes, it will. Yeah, it was a pain to hover using Hero's Huey. That is the UNU difference. UNU has been pushing the envelope for MTS ever since I added hubcaps. I know hubcaps now seem like a super trivial thing, but when I first added different hubcap options, it was UNU has always been pushing the envelope of MTS. Fell behind for a little bit. Other packs were starting to catch up, but then I added suspension to everything. So, yeah. UNU is usually on the cutting edge of MTS. It doesn't have the most high poly, round, smooth models, but that's very deliberate. That's a deliberate choice. UNU has a very specific aesthetic that I go for. But yeah, I mean, this hovering helicopter thing is just the latest example of quality UNU products. Start to sound like Derek Amundsen over here. All right, Unuvation, yes. I used to love playing with your Flansmod pack so much. I remember when you first migrated to MTS back in version 10. Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of, I made a lot of Flansmod content, and it was what set my content apart in Flansmod was just the fact that it was civilian content. Flansmod's a very like military-oriented mod. It has guns. It has a whole like game mode where you can play capture the flag and stuff, which is super cool. I ran a Flansmod. I don't even know what it's like. Teams. It's called Flansmod Teams, which is a whole aspect of the mod that most people don't know about, where you could set up like capture the flag games, team deathmatch games, that kind of thing, and it's super cool. Like you have spawn points. It reminds me a lot of like Halo Forge World. You can set vehicles up to spawn and all sorts of stuff. It's a little buggy at times, but it's an entire system. You can build maps and like vote on which loadout you use, so they're different classes, and I mean it's a whole like I can't overstate enough. It's like a whole aspect of the mod that is so cool. It's one of the things that like really sets Flansmod apart is it turns Minecraft into a whole different game, and it's something that most people don't even know about. I ran a server on that for a while. But anyway, so Flansmod is very combat oriented. You have guns, vehicles, and Flansmod does it really well because it all interacts together. So you can shoot the vehicles to damage them, etc. And so because of that, the pack makers that it attracted were very military based. Military equipment and all that, because most of the Flansmod vehicles and packs were military based. And so there was really only one prominent civilian pack when I made my content, and that was the Manus civilian pack, which added like a few dump trucks, a cement truck, a tanker truck, some industrial equipment, and then a pickup truck, a convertible, a black like sedan, and a taxi. So it was very minimal. And so I always liked civilian cars because I thought, we were going to start a roleplay server. And so that's what set my pack apart was I was one of the few people that were doing civilian stuff early on. Of course, my pack never really popped off in Flansmod. I was always kind of a B-lister. I wasn't part of the community, so to say. I mean, there were community members that knew of me. I was known to some degree, but I got a pretty good start early on because I made that half track, and that was really popular. But yeah, I mean, it was really cool to make Flansmod content back then because the standards were so low. Like I made a half track model that is pretty mid, but it really it was a really popular model. People loved it. All right, love playing with Flansmod pack. You rock, brother. I'm glad Susie's a fan. Susie, you're the real hero. You're always on the streams. I really appreciate your support. All right, let's see if this has anything in here. No. Okay. Does it at least have my packs installed? Yes. Okay. Oh, this has like my Blackthorn packs installed, but not my old packs. What the heck? This has some old models. Look at this. Oh, that's funny. All right. Funny. Yeah, this has some old models. Let's see these old Baron models. Look at that. Old Baron model. All right. So yeah, I'll have to get my freaking OG packs. Where the heck are they? All right. Anyway, Did I buy? I did buy an UNU pin sticker just yesterday, actually. Oh, you're the one who did that. I was so happy when I saw that. You're the first person to buy anything from the quality UNU Redbubble. Um, so yeah, I saw that you picked up a pin sticker. That's pretty cool. It's really weird thinking that now an UNU logo is out there floating around in the real world, outside of my sphere. That's a trip. I hope you enjoy the quality UNU, the UNU pin. Um, Yeah, I hope more people find that store. Redbubble's pretty good for the prices. I got some stickers from it for my water bottle, and they're holding up pretty good. They're pretty good quality. All right, let's see. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Like all my early Minecraft versions are corrupted or something. Like it doesn't want to run, which is weird. Cannot resolve all dependencies. Anyway, uh, I'll download something later or whatever. Um, is there ever going to be a Blackthorn roleplay server? I would love to run a Blackthorn roleplay server. I do not have anywhere close to the time, unfortunately. I have a server that takes place in the universe, and I can't keep it up to date because I've just got too much stuff going on, which is a real bummer. But down the line, if I ever get like crazy to the point where like making Minecraft content could be like my full-time job, I would definitely try to make a roleplay server because I think that'd be super cool. Siegel has a really good roleplay server, or at least he did. I haven't kept up on it at all, so it might be gone by now. But he had a server called Gramados, which seems like a pretty solid roleplay server. It's super in depth. Like I know that some people think that Siegel and I hate each other because of the old Trin Unu, like back and forth, and we had our salty moments. Don't get me wrong, but I think we're on good terms now. I have no ill will against Siegel or Trin at all. And Siegel's very dedicated to his work, and so the Gramado server is really solid from everything I've seen. I've never played on it, but I've trolled around his Discord, the Gramados Discord server, for a while because I was thinking about playing on it, and yeah, I mean it's a whole thing. Plains MC is also a good roleplay server that I know a few people play on. Remember I found the Corvair pack and I thought it was just the coolest thing ever, and I'd come home every day and play with it for hours. Yeah, the Corvair pack, I don't know if you're talking about for Flansmod or MTS. I would guess Flansmod. But the Corvair pack for Flansmod, I mean that was when UNU, or I mean it wasn't even UNU yet, but that was when I really started pushing myself with the models. Um, there were a few good models before that, like the Mule. The Mule was a really good model. Uh, but like the Corvair one was so good. It was the first car that I made, and I was like, that is solid. Because I own a Corvair in real life. Unfortunately, a week and a half ago, it was hit by a distracted driver sitting right in front of my house, working on insurance stuff. But when I made my Minecraft Corvair and I sat in it in game, it like looked the same as when I sit in my actual Corvair, and it was like that was the first time I was like, this is a good model. All right, I think I have a Flans mod pack in here somewhere. Minecraft Transport, Nilla Plus. What the heck? Flans mod 1.7. This might be it. Oh, we'll see. I'll see what I can do. I was all pull my old Flansmod content and talk about it because it needs some love. Yeah, I'm glad you like the Corvair pack. That was like my first pack where I'm like, oh, this is solid. And yeah, you know, it's old. It shows like it's really rough around the edges, but I'm really happy with like how it turned out at the time. Yes, I understand the risks. Put me in, coach. I know the risks. But yeah, I mean, the Corvair pack was really good, and it was like my first model where I sat back and I was like, this. It was like the VW Bug too. Like that whole era of my pack making was like, this is something special. Apologies for being late, says Laura. Hey, this is going on for a while, so don't worry about it. UNU soy fan. Okay, I need to get up on chat a little bit. There's like a bunch of stuff coming in. All right. UNU soy fan says Dirtbeat. Hi Laura. Don't recognize which user this is. It's Atis. Why Los Subtilios? I'm guessing that might be why no subtitles. I don't know. If it's not auto-generating them, unfortunately. Oh, I clicked quit game instead of what I meant to click, which was settings. I don't know why I saw subtitles. That's unfortunate. I gave your pack a shot. Can't stop flying that biplane. I'm glad you like the biplane. Again, that's one of my that biplane, the original model for it, was my 7th model. And unfortunately, I was going to pull up some of my old threads on the Minecraft SMP website, but unfortunately that website's gone. But I might have cached some of it. I'll have to check. But I remember there were people being like, this is only your 7th model? Holy crap. Like, it's a really good model that I'm really proud of. Okay, video settings, GUI. Alright, I have a feeling that this isn't going to do jack all. Formula 1, and then I think I have to go to instances. Here we go. Flans mod, saves, and paste. Alright, does this even have all the Flans mod packs? No. Does this even have Flans mod? No. Okay, I'll have to install the old version of Flans mod. Backup, Flan. Oh boy. Alright, well, I'll continue messing with this. Alright, I thought I had. Well, I guess searching in the Curse Forge launcher crashes it. Alright, I'll figure out some way to show off the Flans mod stuff. Anyway, back to chat. Yeah, so the biplane was my 7th model ever, and I've revised it a couple times since. I revised it initially for my 4-year modeling anniversary, which was back in 2017, I think. Yeah, which is crazy to think about, and that was a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, it's based off the Legend of Korra biplane, and it's a really solid, like, visual design. Alright, I gotta have another Flans mod thing. What the heck? Alright. Create another one. Flans mod 1.12.2. Look at that. Look at how many versions Minecraft has now. Alright. Emma says hello. Well, hello. Welcome to the stream. Look at them bathing in their millions of riches. Totally fairly collected nation tax money, lol. None. It says, well, Falcon. In the lore of Blackthorn, what is the relationship between Blackthorn and the Soviet Union? So, in the lore, yes, the Soviet Union exists. So basically, the Blackthorn lore splits off. There we go. So Blackthorn splits off, like the Universe splits off in the Civil War. Lincoln is assassinated before the war ends, which makes the North decide to sue for peace and a ceasefire rather than unity. Flans mod. Are you kidding me? Bruh. Alright. Open folder. I'll just install it old school style. So the South secedes from the United States. And it's a ceasefire, kind of like a North Korea, South Korea situation. And so, then in World War I, everything from, like, the secession kind of goes as you'd expect. The Union continues to expand. The South doesn't expand westward, only the Union. The South is focused on sort of just handling their own economy. Plus, the Union already had California and was getting some of the other territories. So the South doesn't expand any more beyond its Civil War borders, which then has World War II. What the heck? What the heck? I searched up Flansmod. Whoa! What? UNU has more downloads than Flansmod. Hold up. Look at that. Oh, not quite. Not quite. Dang, that's crazy. I mean, Flansmod hasn't been on Curse forever, so it doesn't have more overall downloads, but that's still pretty crazy to think about. Alright. Well, that's going to be a big day, too. But yeah, so World War I kind of comes and goes. It doesn't really change the course of history there. The main point where Blackboard really starts taking off, or where the history changes. So in 1920, UNU Laboratories is founded, which is dedicated to researching atomic science. So they're radiation, that sort of thing, and they are based off. They get government funding. All right, I'm gonna have to blow my nose real quick. Hold on. All right, needed my mic for that one. I assume you don't want to hear that ASMR. Anyway, so UNU Laboratories is founded in the 1920 to research atomic science. So then, after that, the history again sort of proceeds as normal, and the Great Depression is about to kick in. So, as the Great Depression begins to sort of show its early signs, Catherine DeSato, who is an intern at UNU Laboratories, okay, I guess I can't download that anymore. Decides, all right, we have an ultimatum. Our research laboratory is reliant on government funds, and those government funds are about to run out because the Great Depression is incoming. So let's go ahead and we can either use our last year of funds and then just end the laboratory, which is something that they decide they don't want to do, or we can try to make our laboratory self-sufficient. And so DeSato has the idea of, well, how about we purchase a failing auto company, because they can be purchased for a dime a dozen. Why am I downloading these content? I have them on my machine. I really apologize for my voice. I'm really stuffed up. My nose has been a snot factory for like a few weeks. Anyway, so DeSato is like, well, how about we purchase a failing automaker, because they can be bought for a dime a dozen right now. And after some convincing, the leading scientists, Dr. Salt and Dr. Pepper, the co-founders of UNU Laboratories, decides, all right, we're going to buy an auto company. And they purchase Durant Motors and another small automaker. I have it written down somewhere. And that decides that they use their scientific, because they have their funding for the year, they buy these failing automakers for pennies on the dollar. And they hire a bunch of their other scientists and engineers who are being laid off because of the upcoming recession and depression. And they repurpose their own scientists to develop an automatic transmission, because DeSato feels that that's like the one thing that might be able to set their cars apart. And if they make them cheap enough, people will still be able to buy them, despite the fact that the economy is about to totally collapse. So They do it. They create a self-shifting transmission, put it in the UNU Mastodon, and lo and behold, so they have their UNU Motors. UNU Automotive is born. So it's still part of UNU Laboratories. It's the UNU Laboratories Automobile. That's like the name of it. And I'll get more to the lore later if anybody asks, but put a long story short, World War II comes around. Blackthorn has seceded from the United States and created its own nation, allied with the Axis powers during World War II. So Blackthorn's fighting for the Nazis because they're more united by fascism and some of the principles there, which goes into Blackthorn ideology, which isn't the question that's being asked. So we'll go into the Soviet Union. Operation Barbarossa, the Nazi plan to invade the commies. So Blackthorn and UNU are very focused on intelligence, and they catch wind of this plan and basically manage to convince the Nazi brass to not do it. After an unfortunate accident by involving the Fuhrer. A person in the Nazi leadership who is more aligned with UNU. It was the guy who's like has those massive infrastructure projects, wanted to build a giant dam to drain the Mediterranean. That guy, big UNU fan. He's now sort of higher up in the Nazi party. They don't invade the Soviet Union. Axis powers wins, and Blackthorn kind of sits in between Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union as kind of a balancing force to prevent them from tearing each other apart. So Blackthorn is allied with both Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union and kind of acts as a mediator to uphold the fascist centralized government ruling power. So Blackthorn and the Soviet Union are on friendly terms, although it is an uneasy alliance. Alright, Chase William and Laura Darquez have a couple retracted messages, and it's a pretty niche history. Yes, it is. If that texture is upside down, you'd have a drink tablet. I missed the context there. Oh my god, it's actual Christopher Columbus himself. Hey Doc, I have a question for you. This is Laura Darquez. Out of the following packs, which would you say is your favorite piece of content? DKZ, Cactus Vehicles, Cactus Decor, or Auwe Schweb. All right, those are my favorite packs in MTS. So, I'll go through them one by one. Don't have any hurt feelings, please, because I've got some things to say about those packs. First, on an overall level, I like all the packs. I like every pack in MTS, even Cowboys pack. With all that drama that involved. I think every pack in MTS is valuable because everybody brings a different flavor. That's what I really like about mods that are focused around content packs. Everybody brings their own flavor to the table. So if every pack was the same, if every pack looked like UNU and all that, yeah, that'd be pretty great because everything would be consistent and compatible. But it would be a pretty boring experience. UNU's not for everybody. It's the choice of over 1 million people, but it's not for. And I know that 1 million downloads doesn't necessarily mean 1 million people, but that's irrelevant. UNU's very popular, but it's not for everybody. So I like all that. There are so many different packs that appeal to different interest groups. So I'll start out with saying what I like about each pack and some of the weak points that they have. Obviously, DKZ comes out as a early favorite because I like the time period that DKZ covers. Obviously, I'm really into classic cars. DKZ does that well, and so yeah, I like DKZ a lot. It's an UNU pack. It uses the UNU parts. I always had to turn off the music. So that's cool for a consistency standpoint. It does a pretty good job of mirroring UNU's style, which is pretty cool. Alright, I'm gonna copy. Does this have the save in it? Yeah. Alright. I'm just gonna paste this in really quick, and then we'll be Gucci. So yeah, DKZ's solid. And then we've got Cactus Vehicles. Cactus, I think by far has a really solid texture system. Cactus's textures are some of my favorite in MTS. Although that one guy who's making the new textures for the and new models for all, or I think it's just new textures for all of like the core mod stuff, he's a pretty good contender. Cactus I think does a very good job at keeping the models simple, so they're not as elaborate as UNU. They don't have to be. Cactus does a really good job with his models and the textures for them. And then Cactus Decor, again, just more cactus. And then Auve. Yeah, that's a very popular mod. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my least favorite is Auve. It's got a good, I think it has the best concept out of all of the packs that you listed. And probably out of all the packs in MTS. It's got a very solid, like, I think it's like an East German type thing. Alright, let's just make sure. Oh, cool. The fuck is a zucchini? Alright, I don't know what this is, but it's a flan, so I think so. Whatever. Anyway. Yeah, but the problem with Auve is some of the quality control isn't there. Like, the models are okay. I'm not a big fan of the high poly stuff. Like, a lot of the rotation axes aren't like lined up properly, which I don't know. I'm a big fan of the animations, and so I think it'd be better to not do than to have them lined up. So it's a really solid pack. It's a very popular pack. It gets a lot of hype, and I like the concepts behind it. I think it's really solid. Unfortunately, it's probably my least favorite out of Elite. Coming in at number 3, Cactus Decor. Again, I love Cactus's work. His content is really solid. It's just a decor pack. I like vehicles. The decor is really good though. I use it quite often in my city. It's just, when it's coming in behind, the other ones, I'm gonna have to give it to a vehicle pack. So that's between DKZ and Cactus vehicles. Honestly, I think I would have to say I like DKZ the best. And not just because you asked the question. Cactus vehicles, I like them. I really like how straightforward it is. Again, it's not the world's most complicated pack. They're not the world's most complicated models. But I think that's good. It's very playable. Again, the textures are like really good. And the overall model, like it fits very well with the OCP and that kind of style. Kind of takes it up a notch from the official pack. So I think that's really solid. I'm just not a big fan of 70s vehicles in general. So I'm going to have to give it to DKZ. DKZ could use some improvement on some of the animations and sounds. But for the most part, it's a pretty solid pack. And I guess it could use some work on consistency and updates. But yeah, DKZ's really solid. Again, it's one of my favorites. When I'm putting my vehicles around, like in a world when I'm testing, I like to sort of, here, I'll pull up my testing world. I'll keep this in. Because I want to talk about some of the stuff in here. But when I have my testing world, which we'll play around in later, I use the DKZ Wasp a lot. That's my favorite DKZ vehicle. But yeah, DKZ meshes really well with UNU. UNU, of course, is my favorite pack because I get to put all my favorite vehicles in there. So DKZ works really well with that, and so of course it's going to be my favorite pack because it fits my favorite vehicle era. So how did the UNU Universe lore come about, and who came up with it? So the Universe lore has been a work in progress since 2013, before UNU even existed. Initially, it was a post-apocalyptic lore for my modded server, and then this is before UNU existed. It was actually like an alternate universe where magic existed and stuff. It was its whole own thing. So I call that the TEOM original lore. So it's like an alternate timeline. And then once UNU came about, and that started coming about, so that was, UNU originally was in like the alternate timeline where magic existed, and it was sort of based around Minecraft, an expansion of Minecraft lore. So like the Nether was coming through into the real world, and all this. It was a whole thing. That aspect of the lore was sort of created by Bzur and I, the TEO and co-founder. We kind of stopped talking to each other and hanging out back in 2014, so it's been unfortunate. I still have a bunch of his original UNU sketches for the UNU vehicles that we were going to make. And do I still have my unreleased content pictures up? Modeling. So, for example, if I go over to unreleased content, this is sort of like what the original UNU vision was to be like a futuristic company. And so it's, to have these futuristic vehicles, and so it was to be like kind of UNU was the technocratic people trying to tame the magic. And so then here's another UNU vehicle concept. But yeah. So that was the original version of UNU, which was sort of created by Bzur and I. And then it sort of evolved into an alternate. So for a minute, it was like a post-apocalyptic thing. It was based on our timeline, but after an apocalypse. But then the vehicles were all old-styled because technology had regressed. And so that was kind of like a version of lore that existed for a little bit. And then it became what it is now, which is an alternate 1960s. And so that alternate 1960s lore was kind of a culmination of like my vision of what UNU could be, but then it was heavily influenced by Cactus, Connie, Ender the Strange, a little bit of Laura and other people in there too. But for the most part, like Cactus and Connie have helped sort of influence the lore of UNU and make it what it is. Cactus and Connie both have better understandings of early 20th century history than I do. So I'm kind of making shit up, and then they kind of give me more of the details to be like, oh well, here's some things that would like make it make more sense. So it's really a community effort overall, though. But definitely Cactus and Connie have had a lot of input in terms of like the specifics, and then at the end of the day, I have the final say on what's official. All right. So that was Ender's question. When did the universe come about and who came up with it? Corvair, Detroit Diesel, and MTS Wheels. Yes, a truly cursed site that only the OGs have seen. All right, so Emma has a question. Who is one former pack author you would look forward to seeing make a return? That is obvious, depending on, well, Unuli. Hands down. Unuli is someone who, it's very unfortunate that she only made one released model, and it's that bus. It's a very popular bus. It's a shame that she only released that model. She had a truck that she was working on. She had a mail truck, which was really cool. Her textures are really awesome. They're second to none. She has a few like railcraft things that she made. I have a few of her unreleased models. But yeah, it's unfortunate that she never made more content. Because, excuse me, geez, I'm like drowning in my own snot over here. Yeah, so Unuli had a lot of great content planned, and I think that's her biggest weakness. Is she plans so much, but then she's also so busy that it never gets done, which is a real bummer because she has some really good concepts. As for like pack authors that constantly tease content but never release anything, I'm gonna have to say Emerald. They make a lot of like Diamond Warriors team, DVC, whatever it's called. I know it goes by a few names. I think Diamond Warriors team is like the team, and the DVC is the company. So either way, the vehicles that they make, they're not my favorite. They're a little too detailed for my liking in terms of like poly count and stuff. But I think that's like Emerald's an OG. It's a bummer that they don't make, like, they're always making content. It just never gets released. Like, they work on Olivier forever. But then it's like still not released, which is kind of a bummer because it'd be cool to see what they make. Same thing with FSEN. Alright, where's the blowing nose again? Hold on. Alright. And yeah, same thing with FSEN. Like, they have a lot of content that they have planned and want to make, but they never release it, which is a real bummer. Alright. Afraz asks, what IDE do you use? None. I don't use an IDE. I should. I could, but I don't. Literally, when I'm making models, I make them in this ancient modeling software, MTS Toolbox from 2016. This is where I make all my models. So I make them in here, and then I load them in Blender. This is Microsoft Word. I never use Word. Don't worry. So I load them in Blender to make the models, and then I load up Notepad to do the JSON. And those are the three tools that I use. Oh, and then I use GIMP for the textures. So, for example, if I import, wait for an OBJ, and I go over to vehicles, the other vehicles, then I open up the Diplomat Cabriolet, and I go to GIMP, and this should have the, Diplomat Cabriolet. So first I make the model here in this ancient modeling software, the MTS Toolbox Modeling Helper. This is where I make the model, and then I load it up in Blender, where I separate the parts into their different pieces to be animated, and then I use MTS Modeling Helper. I use this Excel file to take the toolbox coordinates and convert them to MTS coordinates. I also use this for some rotation stuff. And then I've got a whole, this is my crackhead section here for random tools that I need. And then when I need other tools, back open to the celebratory thumbnail, get Desmos up in here. Alright, let's get this over here so I can log in. And so I use Desmos, and I have a lot of specific tools in here, like my axle code generations. This is how I generate the code to animate my axles. And then I've also got things for shape box alignment, stuff like that. And I use Desmos to how to help create the JSON. And then I use Notepad to create the JSON files. So I pick the closest existing UNU vehicle and modify that. And then when it's time to put everything together and test it out, I go into modeling here, and then Minecraft Transport Simulator, UNU Civil Pack, UNU Civil Pack, and this is the pack. And so when it's time, alright, I added a new vehicle, I got all the textures in, I literally just drag this into the zip file, or into the jar file for the mod, and then I boot up Minecraft and test it out, and rinse and repeat that last two steps until it works. And then here's my GIMP file. So I have a template texture that you could download in the UNU template pack, and then I load up different paint schemes and interior textures and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't use any IDE because I don't do any coding. I do content. I guess JSON files are kind of close to coding, but it's not really code. It's more well, I mean, I guess with variable modifiers, it's kind of coding. So yeah, the code is a JSON format, basically a text file. So yeah, I make the model in SMP Toolbox. I make the texture in GIMP. I use Blender to finalize all the model components. And then I use Excel to generate the animation points. I use Desmos if I need some complicated math and graphing. And then I tie it all together with Notepad, and then I just drag it into the jar file with WinRAR. So that is my workflow, not an IDE though. Alright, where is your company located? If by my company you mean UNU, it's located in my house, but if you mean in the universe, it's UNU is located, let me pull up Google Maps. I guess I should use Google Earth, but anyway. Alright. So, Blackthorn. Oh, we have a map. Oh, well. So Blackthorn is this whole region up here. So we have the Old South, and then Blackthorn is this area here. The Western United States breaks off into its own country, the Western United States. After World War II, Blackthorn takes control of Canada because it never decouples from Britain because the American experiment sort of fails with the Civil War. So Canada decides to stay with, be part of the empire a little longer. When the empire falls after World War II, Blackthorn takes control of Canada. So Blackthorn expands all around the Great Lakes and to the west. And so the heart of Blackthorn is in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And so this is because this is the industrial heartland of America around the Great Lakes. That becomes like the core of Blackthorn, and the Blackthorn capital city is actually located somewhere on these islands. So I'm going to say somewhere like in here, but it's not really hard to find yet. But yeah, the Blackthorn capital city is located right around here, which is also kind of like the head of UNU operations. But UNU began like in the Chicago, Milwaukee area. So UNU originally was founded in this area down here. And then a lot of their manufacturing is based in Chicago and Detroit. I saw your snipping tool has a screenshot of Emerald's model. Yeah, because I wanted to save it because it's the, he's working on a model again. I was like, hey, Emerald's working on the Olivier again. They're still alive. So, yeah, I just saw it in chat and I wanted to screenshot it. Sometimes I screenshot people's models. Alright, Christopher Clubbers has a redacted message. For sure, oriented towards the military, because civilian cars kind of sucked at Flasvod. Yeah, the vehicle aspect of Flasvod was always pretty weak. Afraz says, I was here. Yo, what happened to the MTS feature where bullets could break parts? Like whole wheels breaking instead of just tires. You have to ask Don Bruce. I think that could still be enabled. I think it has to do with like part health or something. There are a lot of features involving damage that I want to implement into UNU. Just haven't. Oh my god, I forgot about those models. Yeah. Old school. Old school. Takes me back to the UNU experimental flying car. Yeah. Excuse me. So I'm guessing this is referring back to the old Baron models I was sharing. Oh, that's the reactions, not renders. Renders. There we go. This is my renders folder. Somewhere in here, UNU renders, Blackthorn. The heck. All right, maybe it's in pictures. All right, well, somewhere I have like pictures of the fly. I did like a render of the flying car. I guess I just don't know where it is. Oh wait, no, it's probably in here. Oh yeah, okay. This isn't what I thought it was. All right, and then where is it? UNU experimental Baron. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, the old flying Baron. I need to bring this back. It was a cool like concept of like the jets and then all the computers and everything of the experimental car. It was pretty cool. All kinds of different things. I like this one with the shock derrick. All right. I personally want to add quality UNU parts to the rear window of my truck. You should get that UNU representation. I need to put some of the UNU contents on my cars. What's the store link? I'd love to check it out. So the Redbubble store link is on the information tab of the UNU thing. So it's merch, Redbubble. So let's see if I can. Can I reply? No. I'll put it in chat here. Chat that I'm falling horribly behind in. But yeah. Alright, personal what's the store link? Make the bumper stickers from UNU real bumper stickers. I should. I need to look into some of the UNU bumper stickers into making them actual stickers. I don't know if I can do that through Redbubble, but I might be able to find a way to do that. The problem is quantity, which is why I like Redbubble, because you can just order one-offs. You don't have to order like a minimum quantity. But there's some that I definitely want to make actual bumper stickers. Yeah, good days. Heyo, King Kamishiro says, "Heyo, congrats. Thanks. I'm glad you are happy that I did that." Oh man, I'm way behind on things. Where'd the Concord go? It was in the mod, but I can't find it. The Concord, rest in peace, is horribly out of date. It was always a little buggy because it was so big, and I need to update it and remake it a little smaller because it's just too big. Um, so yeah, the Concord, unfortunately, is abandoned. It will come back someday. Can't say when, unfortunately. And then Laura says, "Hey, I think they were talking about my pack." Well, oof. All right. The amount of mod packs this man has. Oh yeah, I've got quite a few mod packs loaded up on the old curse launcher. Yeah, that's quite a few. I couldn't even. It's most of them are like the TEOM because I use them to keep my mods up to date. Because curse is a very easy way to maintain mod packs, but yeah, there are quite a lot. A lot of different TEOM ones. There's so many. Like abandoned TEOM concepts, which is a bummer. Well, he is DPL. I have like 6 packs. I think that's a lot. Hey, Dub just dropped in a while ago. I don't know when this message was sent. I'm sorry for being so behind on the messages. Welcome to the stream, Dub. Hope you're enjoying it. With the biplane comment. Oh, I thought they were talking about the. Whatever. Anyway, how do you feel about chat reporting in Minecraft? Everyone probably hates it. What's your opinion? I think that the chat reporting in Minecraft should be an optional feature for servers. So, there was this. I don't know what the plugin name was, but there was a plugin where you could globally ban. And so, if a player got 2 global bans, any server running that that plugin would automatically ban that person. So, if let's say this is a person got G banned off of 2 servers, if you ran that plugin, they could not join your server. And I think that should kind of be how the chat reporting thing goes, where it's something you can enable on your server of like, enforce chat or ban bad actors or whatever. That way, if someone is being profane, you could report them, and then any server that has that enabled as true, they're banned from. But that way, you could also have like your own personal server or a server like 2b2t, where if they don't enable it, anybody could still join. Because I think that's the thing that's great about Minecraft is it's so decentralized. Like you can run your own server, and like I run a server, anybody could join it. You have your own rules, your own community, and you're not really beholden to eternal, all the massive servers. And so I think it's a pretty rough move when they start doing things like that, where it affects everybody across the board. Because different servers have different environments. Like a server like 2b2t is definitely a different environment from something like Mineplex or Hypixel, So I think it should be optional for server users to enable that. Alright, how do you feel about... Okay, just dropped in. Vulture, welcome to the stream. Hopefully these messages aren't too old, but I bet they are. Afraz also says he thinks my pack is the best pack for MTS and maybe even immersive railroading. Well, that means a lot, especially on the immersive railroading part, because I don't have some stiff competition there, especially because I haven't made any content for immersive railroading for a long time, but it's all really out of date. I think UNU is the best pack too. It's my favorite, and again, not just because I make it, but because I choose what vehicles go in it, obviously it's going to be my favorite pack because every vehicle that I really like ends up in there. I decide what's in it, therefore it's all content that I like. But yeah, UNU does things that are way different and way ahead of the curve on a lot of other packs at MTS. Like some of the things that I really like about UNU are like the unique. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna be loading up this Flanzon stuff, so I'll just load up my UNU profile for now so I can talk about some of the UNU stuff. But yeah, like UNU has a very deliberate style, which is like the detailed but still blocky, so it still like fits with Minecraft. The textures are pretty. The overall shape of the vehicle. It's because I use this program, everything is still kind of in like a cubic looking. So even though this is curved, it all like still lines up with pixels. So it like has a very unique style that I really like, and then I've kind of perfected over my modeling career, if you will. And I think UNU changes that might make the wheels like actually round instead of this like sort of round thing. Um, that's the only thing that might change. But other than that, I mean, UNU has a very deliberate style that I really like, and of course, all of like the advancements that UNU has over normal MTS packs. Like there are things I put effort into that other packs don't even like consider. So like all the animations, UNU is unsurpassed in animations. I mean, that's just a fact. There are packs that have really good animations, don't get me wrong. But, like, I'm going to load this up here. UNU has some nice touches on the animations. The sounds. UNU is one of the very few packs that has, like, sounds for almost everything. Like, you open and close the doors, you start the engine. I mean, there's sounds everywhere. I've recorded from my actual car. So, yeah, UNU is... I mean, I know this sounds conceited as heck, but like, yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into UNU, and I'm very proud of it. Uh, not in like trying, I don't want to say it's not like a conceited thing. It's just that like some of the stuff that goes on. So for example, with this mule is a great example. So if I grab some crates, oh man, there we go, metal crate. You can see sounds. So if I put this crate down, I can only put them down in the middle here. But then if I fold up the seat, oh, now I can put them off to the side. And then you can also take off the tarp. And then you can take off the stake side, or the whole vehicle if you accidentally shift. Don't worry about that. And then you can take off the stake side. You could take off the hard top. You could put on the canvas top. The canvas top folds after the lag spike. Although MTS is kind of buggy with that. There we go. You fold down the wood shield. You could take off the canvas top. There's, and you still fold down the wood shield, and you can open the thing, but this blocks the wood shield animation. Like, UNU is a very thoroughly made content pack. Everything's very well thought out, very methodical person. And of course, UNU is the only pack where every single vehicle has quality suspension animation. So you can see that the wheels, pitch and roll, and it's all very smooth and perfect because I put that effort in. So yeah, UNU does things like this. The mule is a great example of the difference with UNU. Yeah, UNU is a very solid pack, and I think it is the #1 pack for a reason. And I put a lot of work into it, and it's good to see that other people appreciate that. Of course, just like with everything, UNU has its downsides, but I'd say that they're pretty minimal in the grand scheme of things. Anyway, I'm glad you like my pack. I'm glad you think it's the best. I agree, and I hope that didn't come off as too conceited because it's a source of pride, and I don't want that to get mixed up with thinking that like everybody else sucks and I'm awesome because I make it. But it's just like I put a lot of work into it, and I'm very proud of what UNU is in relation to the rest of MTS. I think it's something very special, and I put a lot of work into it to make it that way, so I'm glad that other people enjoyed as well. Alright. Diplomatic relations between Blackthorn and Algeria. Have not put thought into that. Not really something that's a little too in-depth, even though Blackthorn lore seems like it's pretty crazy. Those kind of foreign relations, I haven't really put much thought into. Funny seeing Fallout MC on the Forge page again. Yeah, Fallout MC. Yuri Curie was an UNU official. No, but she had relations with UNU laboratories because she was studying radiation as well, and is very respected within Blackthorn, especially because part of Blackthorn's agenda is equality. Again, Catherine DeSato is the creator of UNU, and she's a woman, and it's a big part of like the Blackthorn ideology that they used to like assert why they were better than because one of their big whole things was like fascism is better than democracy because democracy is chaos and fascism is planned and organized, and that's like one of the main Blackthorn ideologies, and that fascism is very intentional, and so fascism is a government type, and so it has a lot of negative connotations for good reason. But Blackthorn kind of sees it more as like an organizational structure. Blackthorn's got some interesting ideology that we'll get into later if people decide to take that route. Make the mod for immersive vehicles for 1.19. I cannot. You have to ask Don Bruce to do that, and it is something he's working on. And then that started a little debate. Okay. UNU atomic weaponry lore real. Yeah, UNU developed the atomic bomb during World War II, earlier than in our timeline. Because UNU is very scientifically focused, they funneled a lot of money into atomic research even before war broke out. And so one of the things that turned the war into the Axis favor is a combination of German science and Blackthorn engineering. So Germany, of course, had the V2 rockets, and you strap a little nuclear warhead to that, and it does a lot more damage when you're shelling London. So that made quite a big difference in the war, and UNU's early focus on atomic science played a role in the eventual Blackthorn victory, which is all very intentional. All right. Is the UNU Panther been updated much? The tank. The UNU Panther, is updated to the newest versions of MTS. Again. I do plan on adding more tanks in the future because the UNU Panther X is like an experimental railgun tank. So I do plan on adding more conventional tanks in the future. And I have some big plans with the tanks that I'm looking forward to. But I can't share what that is yet because I don't want anyone to copy it. And then Manuel says hello. Chase says none is the context. All immersive vehicles for 1.9. Stalin watching a Germany hire car company to win World War II. Yeah, that's sort of it. Yeah. It's up to Don Bruce. Quality control is getting better in Aveshveb nowadays. I hope so, because it's a good content pack. It's just like I think I have it installed. Yeah, here we go. Well, it's a bunch of one thing that I like about UNU that was like I was super on the fence about, but then once I did it, I was like, oh, it's a really good idea. Default parts. It's so nice to just down vehicle, and it has all the parts on it, and you can just get in and drive it. I know that assembling the vehicle is the whole part of MTS. Man, I'm a play creative. It's nice just to plop down a vehicle. I thought I had some Auschweb parts here, but I don't. Yeah, okay. And normally there's a DKZ Wasp parked here. I think I uninstalled it because the treads were crashing my game, which is a bummer. Alright. Auschweb. Alright, I'm just going to install UNU parts. Seat. Or whatever random parts I come across. We'll go with an MTS seat here. The models, I'm a big fan of. They look really solid. I think they're just on the okay side of overly detailed. There's some aspects of it that I'm not a big fan of. Like, this is good detail in the engine bay, but it's a little whack. But then, of course, there's like this kind of stuff. So I hope to see Alfeb get a little better, but in terms of like that kind of the details, like to me the details really matter because it shows like the attention of you put into the pack. So again, these are my opinions. I'm not saying they're absolute by any means, because they're not. My opinions are my opinions, and everybody has different things. Some people think UNU is way too blocky, which is fair because you know everyone has different things. All right, if you hate Alva Schweb's High Poly, you're gonna hate my newest working pack. Veb isn't actually that high poly. It's like I said, it's just kind of in the gray area there. I like the UNU poly count. Like that's where I like it, but everybody's got their own flavor. Alright, Doc, check the UNU Discord. You mistook what I asked and clarified what I was asking of you there. Okay, let's see. Ask what piece of content from each of the packs is your favorite, not which pack is your favorite out of them. Okay, I'll go back to that. What's my favorite piece of content from those 4 packs? Gotcha. Well, from DKZ, I think that's going to be the Wasp. Well, I don't have DKZ installed right now. The Wasp, DKZ doesn't have very many cars. It's got the Fortana, I think that's the truck, and then it's got the Classilica, which is like the boat tail looking thing, which is a good car. Not my style. I don't really like that style of car in general. And then there's the Wasp, which is like the Hudson Hornet. That one, the Wasp, is my favorite. The Classilica and the Fortuna had some drama, but the Wasp is like the very original DKZ creation, and I think it's very well done. I like the details that DKZ has, like with the taillights and headlights and stuff. Especially the taillights on the Fortuna. I don't know how to pronounce it. The taillights on those are really cool looking. The way they're like kind of all next to each other and look like mini rockets. I think those are really well done. I think that is a very small design feature that is like that could really be like a design characteristic of DKZ. It's sort of like almost, I want to say like a mix between Art Deco and Diesel Punk. It's a pretty cool little design element that I think, if spread throughout DKZ, could really help set it apart. Like, for example, some of those like design elements are brought to the Wasp on a remodel, rather than like just a normal taillight that sort of sticks out, but it was like made more like a rocket, like the Fortuna. I think that'd be really cool. Alright, create a track that goes up and down, long and a little long, because with the blocks and slabs, the vehicles break it when they go up. Yeah, MTS vehicles have a hard time driving. There's some bridges over here that are a good example. Let's see, I'm going to grab UNU 650 Deluxe Convertible. Just plop it down and hop in. Because, yeah, MTS has its limitations with how it handles slopes, which is, I don't know, it's kind of what you end up getting. But UNU does a pretty decent job of rolling with it because of how I select hitboxes. Let's see if, okay, this, that, so, but yeah, the newer versions of MTS are actually pretty solid in terms of that aspect of it. So yeah, as you see, I just went up there just fine. So I have larger test tracks that I've been using recently. I've been playing more maps. So yeah. Alright. Make an ambulance for the mod UNU parts pack, please, and arrive for 1.9. Alright. 1.9, again, that relies on MTS. There is one ambulance for UNU. That's the Baron ambulance. I do plan on making more, though, down the line. Personally, I would tackle more paranormal stuff, like the UNU Occult Division. There are so many small aspects of UNU that I want to flesh out, like the Occult Division. It's just a matter of time. But the Occult Division is something that I really want to flesh out. I plan on modeling a PA-29 lookalike airplane for MTS. Unfortunately, I won't have much time for it from today all the way to mid-December. Yeah, time is the hardest thing with MTS. When I first started MTS, I had all kinds of time. Because I was like, it was summer in college or whatever. My class load is pretty light. And I was working a pretty light schedule, so I had some time to burn with MTS. Like, I basically made MTS content instead of playing video games. I found it really fun. But yeah, and then now that I'm so familiar with the MTS system, I can crank out a car pretty quick, so it's not that much of a time drain anymore. So it's all about it. Once you invest that time of learning how the system works and you get your flow, then the time crunch becomes less. Just as future MC. Oof. All right, manual. Please discuss that with Don Bruce. SMP is payware now. Wish I could have used it. So, Attis, SMP Toolbox. There is a way to crack it. If you add there was like a guide on how to do it on the UNU on the MTS server. So I don't remember how. I actually bought it like way back in the day. I paid like $20 for it or whatever. I got my money's worth. It's free to make models under 200 boxes, but when you try to export as OBJ and stuff, that is where it stops working. Alright, M is not a him, please try to remember. I know that M is trans, and I've been using they mostly. I slipped up like once or twice. How many confirmed kills does Derek Amundsen canonically have? Derek Amundsen served in war, so he has kills. Yeah, he served in World War II and was hired for UNU during the war. And yeah, so Derek Amundsen is younger compared to like the people who started UNU at Blackthorn. Derek Amundsen came kind of later in the game. He was born like in the 1920s. And served in World War II. So, yeah, Derek Amundsen, he's got a kill count, but that's confidential. Yeah, I thought, though. I wonder if the Flying Baron was developed using reverse engineering tech from the Secret Cargo. You never know. You never know. Where do I drop questions? Vulture asks. Right here in chat. And hey, I've finally caught up to my Redbubble thing. Yeah, okay. Thanks for the link. Might buy a sticker when the dollar gets a little cheaper. Yeah, I mean, there's no pressure to buy it, but go for it when you can. They're like I said, the stickers are pretty decent quality. They're like a thick vinyl almost. And like I said, I put one on my water bottle, and it holds up pretty well. I've had it on there for about a week, and it's pretty solid. Redbubble's a decent company. All right, you have good music taste. Well, thank you. I like a lot of different music, so... Oh, and I had my keyboard. I had my hand not lined up right on my keyboard. I got a lot of different music tastes. I listen to a lot of different stuff, so it's always going to please somebody. Anything from German goth metal to old school country to Fats Domino and the Jubilaires from the 1930s to 40s. All right. Also enables exploit devs by not making it so there's a limit on reports, and then also threaten them as in all positives. Oh yeah, talk about the chat thing. I'm gonna go play War Thunder. Thanks for the stream. Bye. See you later, Zuzi Uzi. Thanks for coming in. I know that I'm like half an hour behind on the chat. Whoops. So what's the current situation for nations like Ireland, Scotland, and especially Scotland? For Enter the Strange asks. So they are under the fascist sphere of influence, although in Ireland and Scotland there are... So fascism took a heavier stance in Ireland because Ireland was so anti-British. And so fascism is a little stronger there. Scotland has like a fascist government, but there's a lot of like infighting and resistance forces. Fortuna. Okay, Laura listing the various vehicles. There are more planes, but I want to finish remodeling them before I add more cars. Doom. Oh, the Rotomus. I totally forgot about the Rotomus. That was a pretty solid DKZ vehicle as well. Is I playing with me again, or is the stream just stuttering sometimes? The stream might be stuttering sometimes. I've got my internet, and that's just how it be. Yeah, it seems like it's okay. Alright, that's where I want to help. The paranormal and supernatural are my favorite subjects. Well, I'll probably take you up on that offer. I want to flesh out the sort of occult division of UNU. I really like Stranger Things, and I'll probably take some inspiration from that. But yeah, I like the idea of some... I had this like high flying dream of like I want to make animations based in the Universe, like Minecraft machinimas. Um, like Tales from the Universe, and it's like short little movies about various scenarios in the universe. But we'll see if that ever happens. That's a big time suck. All right, the stream started sometimes when Doc moves around too fast in Minecraft. Okay, so yeah, it's probably just my my computer not being able to catch up. I should probably shorten down my render distance. That might help. Excuse me. Are you going to be making more trains and immersive railroading? Yes. Don't know when. Trains have been a very low priority, but I still plan on making some more stuff for it eventually. And the Dub asks, this has been in my head for too long, but I have an urge to make the UNU guns in UNU tactical for no reason whatsoever. I saw some of your posts in MTS. I like that idea of like the super tactical UNU gun. I think that's really funny. Come up with like a Universe gun name and we'll make it like a gun company name and we'll make it happen. And then Laura asks, oh, by the way, at Dr. Luigi, I plan on making the Rodimus use your hardtop part instead of the roof parts. That's proprietary. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's another big innovation are the UNU accessory parts. So, for example, let's jump out of the car and ditch it. Except I won't. I lied. So if I get the stake side. So that's one thing that like UNU did pretty well. Are all these vehicles that take the stake side attachment. So you have all these vehicles, and they take this single stake side attachment, and it automatically adjusts to the vehicle, even for the mule and the mule. Like all these vehicles take the stake side, the same exact stake side part. That's again, it's not the world's most complicated thing ever, but it is one of those things that UNU invented and kind of sets UNU apart. Is that sort of attention to not just detail, but consistency and thoroughness is something that I'm really proud of with UNU. UNU is very consistent, and I'm constantly updating my old vehicles to ensure that they remain consistent with each other. All right, and then Dr. Fitzluigi, that's me. Afraz mentions me. If you do that, use the Blockbuster mod as it's the best machinima mod for MC, and it's also 1.12. I've used the Blockbuster mod a little bit, along with what mod was it? There's another mod by McHorselib. There's Blockbuster, and then the morphs mod, like the player morph. I've experimented with those a little bit. Where? I could have swore. I'm gonna try to find. I have a video somewhere of like the Blockbuster mod. Where is it? 1.16 profile, FVM, Overture. Man, I have to find it. Somewhere I have like I made some experimental. I experimented with the Blockbuster mod a little bit. Where is it? This is why I have specific like mod packs. Dang, where is it? Instances, Blockbuster. Let's see if I can find it. Nothing? Are you kidding me? Oh, is this just Ockbuster? There we go, Blockbuster. All right. Where is this? Open file location. Greenfield. MTS 1.12. It's in here. Open file location. Mods disabled. Okay. So then when I load up the Blockbuster, where does it export them to? Maybe it's in config, Blockbuster, models. I did a commission for somebody. I made them like little cookie characters so they could do like a cookie hide and seek thing. They're like a streamer YouTuber, Minguado, and we had a good relationship. You know, I made the commission, he paid me, and I was like, all right, if you need more stuff, let me know. And I thought we were gonna have like a partnership, and then we never did. So maybe my stuff was too expensive. But yeah, so I've experimented with Blockbuster, and I even have like a player morph that I made of the UNU rabbit, so you could like look like you're driving vehicles around. So that's something I've got. That's like a tool that I'm aware of, and I might use to make machinimas like of little like UNU things. I have some. I got so many ideas, not enough time. There's also a way to. Is there a way to use STL files in MTS? My father owns an aircraft manufacturer company. I'd like to add the airplane we designed in game. So, yes, but actually no. You could take the STL model, load it into Blender, and then do whatever you need to do in Blender, and then export it as an OBJ from Blender. That is what you could do for that. Blockbuster by McHorse Mods, and it's a suite of mods like Avatar, Metamorph, and more. A suite of mods. Yeah, so I'm on the McHorse Lib Discord. If I go into other mods, McHorse Lib. So yeah, I'm familiar with the wonderful work that McHorse makes. Honestly, like it's insane the stuff that they make. Like McHorse, like all of their mods are so insane. Like it's crazy what you can do with them. But yeah, I made like a little. Maybe I have it saved in a world. No island, plane testing. Yeah, somewhere I've got a McHorse like thing. I don't know where though. But yeah, I made like a little animation. All right. Yeah. Cool. I caught up with Chad. Look at that. Yeah, so I might make some machinimas in the future. I have like a lot of ideas for like little shorts for UNU in the UNUverse. Well, yeah, about 10 minutes left of the planned stream. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll go and go back to the Flans mod thing. Find the scene. I don't even know what world the scene is in. Let's see, Blockbuster. Another flat world has like some Blockbuster content in it. UNU vs. Huey Vietnam deployment. Yes. If I go to screenshots, that's what this always reminds me of. I took a screenshot of like the Hueys flying, and like this is like a good picture of that. But yeah, Blackthorn didn't really get involved in Vietnam, of course. Like, you know, Blackthorn is communist, and that war is between America and Russia because of it's a proxy war and blah blah blah. But Vietnam still happened between the Pacific states and Russia. Blackthorn sold UNU sold stuff to Russia to use, so the Hueys were in use in Vietnam in the UNUverse. Just on the other side was the Russia. Well, yeah, I don't know. Vietnam wasn't really fighting Russia. It was like a war against communism, but against Vietnam. Yeah. So yeah, Blackthorn and UNU never got involved in Vietnam. So even though the Huey is like a Vietnam icon, it was made by UNU, and I guess maybe it saw use in Vietnam. Like UNU sold it to the Pacific states to use in Vietnam. So yeah, but Blackthorn never got involved. If you had to move to a new modeling program, which program would you go to first? FMT, Blender, or something else? If I had to go to a different modeling program, I would probably try Blockbench. F Fex's modeling toolbox is probably the closest to the SMP toolbox. However, Blockbench seems to be becoming the new standard, and uh, something small to get hyped about is UNU content might be coming to a new platform of Minecraft that might require some Blockbench Java models. Uh, it's something that's been a work in progress for a long time, but I need to actually buckle down and make some Blockbench models. So, if I'm going to be making content, my UNU content on the modeling toolbox as long as I can, because it's what I'm familiar with. My style is very based around the boxy shapes that this program offers. I'm very familiar with all the tools that this program has. Like, I've been using this same program for 8 years, at least, maybe a little longer. The newest version is 8 years old that I have. So yeah, I'm familiar with this program. I know it very well. It allows me to make models really quickly. It has its downsides, of course. Like for example, if I'm like selecting multiple things and then I accidentally click away, it unselects everything, which is a pain in the butt. But for the and you can't name all your groups and stuff. But I know it so well, and it has a lot of strong suits like the texture painting and stuff. And so I know it so well. I can make models so quickly with it that the learning curve of me learning a new program isn't really worth it because, like I said, I can make models very quickly with this program. I know it very well. But if I had to use a different program, it would be Blockbench because I have larger aspirations for UNU, and they're going to require Blockbench. Or because Blockbench I can export OBJs, and I can make JSON models for UNU's future ventures. All right. When will the fire extinguisher handheld gun be implemented? Do you need me to do any more work on JSON to make it work properly? Asks Laura. I know I owe you that fire extinguisher gun. Oh, honestly, I owed Cactus those guys forever. I'll implement it soon. Probably the next civil update. I want to add more emergency vehicles and flesh out the police vehicles a little bit. Add some things to them. So maybe I'll next time I remember and I want to mess with some guns. I need to add the rest of Cactus's rifles too. So it's not something I forgot about. It's just not been the biggest priority because I pushed out this last update because there's a lot of little things that I need to do. I need to make that fire extinguisher. I need to add machine gun mounts to the Huey, stuff like that. And it's like, ugh, I just have to do it. All right. Atis says, you saw you posted something about having a company that is experimenting with hydrogen engines. You plan on adding that kind of tech to UNU or perhaps nuclear vehicles. So, canonically, within the UNUverse, within Blackthorn, UNU uses a synthetic fuel that is partially based around hydrogen gas. It's a little sci-fi-y. It's not realistic, but UNU and Blackthorn is like a zero waste society, because again they're very science focused. As for my company in real life, it burns just hydrogen in a combustion engine. But yeah, it's my company was founded back in 2018, and then we had to take a break from COVID, and we're just starting to get back off the ground again. I don't want to share too much of the details, but yeah, it's slow, but we're working on it. And once if it ever takes off, and I'm famous, I'll have to share it. But for now, I want to kind of keep it on the DL. All right. Laura says, don't tell me you're making content for the marketplace. Well, I won't tell you I'm making content for the marketplace, but I will tell you I have signed a contract with a certain someone who makes content for a certain Minecraft marketplace thing. So UNU might be coming to Bedrock Edition sometime soon. It's just a matter of uh, this individual that I technically am employed by now, getting things off the ground. So, Silver Disturb says, I seriously doubt it. Nah, make that a rumor. Yes, there are plans with a certain someone. I don't want to share their name yet because it's been a work in progress for a long time, and they're very busy. They make a lot of Minecraft Marketplace content. But yes, I'm working with somebody who is pretty prominent in the Minecraft modeling community, pretty prominent in the Marketplace community, and has even worked with at Minecraft for a little bit. It's my name drop claim to fame. But yeah, so they are helping me get working with me to help get some content onto the Minecraft Marketplace. I'm going to make some vehicles for some of their maps. So it's a big learning curve. I got to find the time to learn a whole new system, which is why I haven't done it yet. But I'm very optimistic towards it. Blockbench's new update kind of messed up a few things, but I think they might fix it here and there. Yeah, I gotta get used to Blockbench. Go ahead and pull this, and then pull this. Cool. I wanted something more interesting to look at than just a static model. Here we go. Look at this here. All right. The only content pack I would buy there, to be honest, soon. Hopefully, we'll see. Like I said, it's been in the work for a year and a half now, and it's just a matter of I gotta make some UNU vehicles in Blockbench. It's a whole process that is very slow because they're very busy. Alright, speaking of guns, I have more JSON code to add to them to add more detail and UNU quality. Alright, well, you know how it is. You make stuff, add it to our little group chat, and I'll try to clean it up and put it in the pack. Like I said, I'm very busy this week, and then I'm going to be on vacation for a little while, so I'm going to be completely offline in a week for 2 weeks. So, and then I'm starting school again in September, which will be fun. So, I'm not going to have a lot of time. Alright, if you were to make a plane for a pack, you'd make it for his own. Arian Akatari. I guess I missed a comment there. Nox Crew. Don't know what that means. Wait, so you're telling me Gap isn't his? No, so yeah, Gap is a community project, and I made I made a vehicle for Gap, but yeah, I'm not officially part of Gap. Can you make more planes? Afriz asks. I really like them, but I want more. Yeah, I want more planes too. Unfortunately, my interests don't lie in airplanes. I really like cars, which is why I made so many cars. So the two airplanes that are in UNU, one of them is the Aurornis, which is a model I made back in 2014 and have updated, and then the second is the Navigator, which is made by Cactus, modified by me slightly, just some touch-ups. So yeah, I don't really make too many airplanes, unfortunately. I made the UNU Cord, the Swift, but yeah, that one's kind of bad. I need to update it. So yeah, I want to make more airplanes in the future. I want to make some old school jets, like passenger jet airplanes. I want to make some World War II era airplanes, but unfortunately, airplanes are a topic that I don't know a lot about, from a mechanical standpoint. I just don't have a lot of interest in airplanes in general. I like cars, and so that's why I make them. So I'll make some of the future down the line. It's just a matter of having that inspiration, if you will. Alright. Personally, what I prefer is to see UNU trains and MTS rather than immersive railroading, says Laura. That is a very good point. I need to make some roads in MTS. That's a new feature that I have not experimented with at all. I played with some of the roads in the OCP like 6 months ago or something, but I've never actually even tried making my own roads yet. So I would like to make trains in MTS, especially now that, and again, when I say now, I mean like the past few months. There's a better system for hitching vehicles together. They can make trains a lot more usable than they were. I think the one thing that still the MTS still needs to figure out is like making certain roads whitelisted, so only certain vehicles can go on certain roads, and then I think that'd be like the secret sauce for trains. And maybe that's already a thing. I don't know. And then also being able to tow vehicles backwards. I don't know how good MTS is with that. All right, passenger version of the Navigator would be cool. That is something that I'm going to add to the civil pack down the line, like somewhat close. I just have to make a different interior for it. It varies, like it's very like the Navigator is a classic plane, so I definitely want to make a passenger version of it. And then Laura is adding a Blackthorn library to her packs. Upcoming Tempest Swallow, aka the ME262. Yeah, I like the Blackthorn or the UNU DKZ cooperation. That's always really cool to see. Need any help with roads and trades and MTS? Laura's more than willing. I'll probably take you up on that, but you're helping out a lot of packs already. I just need to actually like read the wiki. Oh yeah, Dub says, oh yeah, using MTS rows, you could theoretically make the railway gun actually work. That is true, and I do plan on modifying the railway gun. I want to update it and kind of modify how it looks. I want to make a smaller one that only takes one track, and I want to find a way to make the dual track one like work properly on 2 tracks. So we'll see down the line. But yeah, it's pretty sweet. Alright, it would be hell to make, but it would be possible. Yeah, just like the airship. Those massive projects, I mean, they're very ambitious. Like the airship is awesome. And you pull the Auroranuses under it and then like suck them up. It's super cool. I think I have screenshots of it. Like the airship is really neat. I'm really happy with where it's at so far, but it's nowhere near done, which is a total bummer because it's a really cool concept. Now, MTS has some newer features since I've last worked on the airship, like variable modifiers, which might help with make the airship better. But yeah, the airship is super cool, and along with all those like really big vehicles are super fun. It's just a lot of work to make something like that, which is a bit unfortunate. All right. Afra says, if you have enough time, try making autopilot for the planes. The planes do have autopilot. So there's a lever in them called autopilot, and if you flip it, it automatically levels the plane. It makes you cruise at a steady altitude. If you're referring to like automatically flying somewhere, I have ideas. And a sneak peek of that idea is on the UNU Rabbit, the experimental rabbit. So, with the airship as well, I have some big brain ideas for UNU in the future regarding that sort of thing. Auto navigation and stuff. So keep an eye out for that. That's gonna be so we're getting close to the end of the stream here. So we'll put a pin in the autopilot, auto navigation things. That's something I want to talk about. Doc, Laura says, Doc, you know me by now. I have a hand almost everywhere. Yes, but a jack of all trades but a master of none. You gotta focus on your own pack. Stop working on other people's packs. We gotta see some of that more quality DKZ content. Add a removable middle seat would be a middle standard car seat. Yeah, so you could sit 3 across on a bench. I think that's a cool concept, and I've considered doing that. There's a whole way I could do it. It's just a matter of when you sit 2 people next to each other in a bench seat in Minecraft, because Steve is a meter wide, he kind of fills it up. So sitting 3 across is possible. It just doesn't look the best, and it's not necessarily needed. how often do you have a car full of players? So because you're not actually playing with a whole bunch of people at once, but the way Minecraft is and the kind of how the vehicles are balanced, it makes sense to have 2 people per row rather than cramming a third in the middle. Since one, it doesn't look great, and 2, um, you don't often have 4 players getting into a car, and when you do, and you want to add a 5th, it kind of makes sense to use a station wagon because like that's a lot of people in terms of Minecraft, Um, so yeah, it's something I've considered, but I decided against it. You didn't make a comment on my message about handheld guns though. I guess I missed that. It's above Arian's first message. Arian. Yeah, I think I missed that. Okay. Speaking of guns, I have more Jason code. Oh yeah, you mentioned having more Jason code on them. Yeah, like I said, I'm always I can always put it in there, and I'll take a look at it. But like I said, I've got pretty high standards on how things work, and yeah, it's complicated when I add stuff that other people make. Remember the atomic cannon the Army made in the 50s? That would be a great base for a single track railway gun. It says Ender the Strange. Yes, I do plan on having, what were they called? Like Davy Crockett's? I have a few plans for that kind of stuff. Dub says he's going to head off. Thanks for joining the stream, Dub. It's always good to see you around. I'm glad you came to the UNU server and I can keep track of your content there. And then... So yeah, Attis tells Afraz, I believe autopilots that kind of aircraft weren't a thing since it's from the 30s, but Blackthorn is way ahead of their time. So Blackthorn in the 30s and stuff isn't super ahead of its time. So, you make a good point. And Blackthorn's technological advancements aren't really towards things like autopilots and computer technology, but more in atomic science and space science. So yeah, Blackthorn is advanced in some senses, but is very like average in others. It's not like Blackthorn's like super advanced or anything like that. I try to keep it pretty realistic. All right. And then, speaking of the guns, I have more Jason code. Yeah, I already addressed that. No, the carriage was named Atomic Annie. The Davy Crockett's were atomic bazookas. Okay. Yeah, I want to make more atomic stuff in UNU because I think that could really help solidify UNU's identity. I just have to do it. I might even be able to find a way to make it so it even makes like a little mushroom cloud. But yeah, I have like this really like pipe dream of making an atomic based add-on for immersive engineering, which I would love to do because I think that's something that could really I think that's something that is like missing from the immersive engineering sort of field. So I would really like to see that, and I want to make it. I just have to learn how to make a mod. What's the orange car in the screenshots? This is the Vashkmat Duke. I was playing around with parts. See, this is what I like. Parts compatibility. But yeah. It's the Vashkmat Duke. My favorite Vashkmat vehicle. I know Vashkmat and I have our issues, but that's mostly due to Blaze. So, taking the pin out of the autopilot, auto-tracking thing. So, I want to talk about my plans for UNU version 6. Try making planes that drop nukes. What about a customizable, colorful hardtop for convertible vehicles? So, planes that drop nukes, totally doable. I'd have to really figure out how to keep that balanced, to prevent people from just like annihilating servers. But yeah, as for colorful hardtops for convertible vehicles, so UNU version 6 is the next big version of UNU, and I want to focus it on customization. So things like there's hints of it in UNU. So you have things like fender skirts, window visors, roof racks, stuff like that. I want to flesh out that whole system, make it so that more vehicles can be customized. Siegel has been bugging me to do that kind of thing for a long time. That's something that Trin does very well. Something that Craft Speed is starting to do, and I think that's something that UNU needs to do in order to keep up with the game. Obviously, you're not slapping a body kit on an UNU Mariner, but that is something that I want to do. So you can see some of it here with the fender skirts. I also want to do engine modifications. I have a lot of plans for that kind of thing. And a separate part of UNU version 6 that I want to do is more advanced things. So with tanks, I want to do animated crews. With the airship, I want to do an animated crew that crews the airship. With airplanes, I want to have more automatic navigation. And these are all things that are possible in MTS. I have theories on how I could do it, and the bones of like the tests. So they're in UNU. There's the UNU experimental rabbit. So I'll go ahead and load up MTS. So there's the experimental rabbit, which is the test bed for some of my crazier MTS theories. Now, with variable this is going to get into pretty technical MTS stuff here for a sec, but bear with me. Within MTS, there are these things called variable modifiers, and for the longest time, people thought that it was just used to modify existing variables on the car, like downforce, axle ratio, what have you. And yes, that is what variable modifiers are capable of doing. But they're capable of much more than that. Variable modifiers are something that was added to MTS, and that single feature is what has allowed all of the modifications and advancements that UNU has had in the recent updates. So suspension, all variable modifiers. My plans for things like animated crews, animated airship crews, automated navigation, all possible with variable modifiers. And the core, the bones of those things, are already in MTS and are in UNU. So if you are very inclined, you could sort of take apart my work that I've done with UNU and reverse engineer it to kind of beat me to the punch. But there are things that people, a lot of MTS authors kind of, I think, have a misunderstanding of what variable modifiers are, and I'm not going to elaborate on that because that kind of, I don't know. If other people are underestimating something, what's my place to kind of explain it all? So with variable modifiers, of course, you have things like the ride height here, so I can make it lower and lower the vehicles. There's all sorts of, this is all possible through variable modifiers, but you have other things. Text formatting is also another thing that I think very few people in MTS know how to use properly. And so this is some of the fancy stuff within MTS. Gentle. Okay, lock. Okay. So, I don't know if anyone's experimented with this, but of course you have this fantastic suspension animation. Who knows? Alright, so for example, if I'm cruising along here, and then I hit lock, you can see, oh, okay. I need to update this because stuff got messed up. What the heck? So you see the steering wheel, the wheels are turned, and they should be, they try to automatically point you to the nearest cardinal direction. There's some issues with this because of recent MTS updates, but you can kind of see the idea here. And this is also seen in gentle steering. So if I turn off lock, gentle steering makes it so that the faster you're going, the less steering angle you have. It's kind of hard to see because I need to tweak it a little bit still. But if I just go like full blast, you can see the steering wheels, like the wheel gets sharper and sharper the slower I go. So I accelerate, get up to speed, and then I crank on the steering wheel. It doesn't turn all the way right away. You see, and then it turns more and more the slower I go. So variable modifiers and the new input-output variables as well really are changing the game in terms of MTS, and have a lot of features that I think are very much being underutilized. And it's something that UNU is taking advantage of and will help UNU stay on top, which is something I'm very excited about. Alright. Dropping nukes, I don't know if you know a mod called Vix Modern Warfare. It has a lot of guns. Why don't you try using that system for guns you recently added? I'll definitely take a look at it. Again, guns aren't my biggest interest either, which is why UNU only has like 2 and they're made by other people. Mastodon Cabriolet, taxis, and tow trucks when I get around to it, or they get sponsored. Automatic Drifto, yes. The rabbit is very drifty. But yeah, so I guess that kind of goes into, so I'm going to start wrapping up the stream here, so if you got any last minute questions, be sure to ask them. But yeah, so those are the kind of things that are be coming up in UNU version 6. Those are my big plans. More stuff. Some things that are really gonna, I know that there's some people at MTS that are always pushing the boundaries. Blaze comes to mind. He's always testing out new things. For a while there was a whole little crew that was making fun of the UNU rabbit, the experimental rabbit, because it was testing some experimental features that weren't ready yet, like, my prototype versions of body roll. And I was getting made fun of them because, oh, look, it's the experimental rabbit. It totally sucks because the body roll's trash. Yeah, and now the UNU suspension is the best suspension system in MTS. Boom. Suck it. Yeah, I like it when people make fun of you for something and then you end up beating them. Because they're making fun of me because it was an in-development thing. And then once it's released, it's beautiful. But yeah. UNU is going to continue evolving, continue pushing the boundaries of MTS, and version 6 is going to be just another example of it, just like version 5 was, and every version before that. I'll take you up. I don't want to get some more time, or get some more money. Alright, well, everyone's going to have to go, and I have to go as well. So I'd like to end this stream not by bragging about how awesome UNU is, because we all already know that. This suspension animation is just proof of that. But yeah, to thank you all for helping make UNU what it is. So as I touched on with Flansmod, I was never like a big Flansmod creator. I was always a B-lister. There were people who liked my pack, don't get me wrong, but no one was like, Flansmod, Dr. Professor Luigi, I love the Dr. Professor Luigi pack. But with MTS, UNU has really grown into something beyond anything else I have ever made. So it really means a lot to me that so many people like UNU, download it, join the Discord, or chatting. I mean, the UNU Discord has surpassed the MTS Discord. The UNU pack has surpassed the official pack, and now UNU has surpassed 1 million downloads. And none of that would be possible without everybody who's supported UNU along the way. Whether you've just downloaded it once because you thought the thumbnail looked pretty cool, or whether you've sponsored half a dozen vehicles and support me on Patreon. Everybody who has helped UNU become what it is through downloading it has also given me the motivation to make UNU into what it is. When I first started making MTS content, I made a couple vehicles, then took a break, and it was going to end up being a lot like Flansmod, where I just make a few things, take a break, make a few more things, and it never becomes like anything huge. But UNU really early on got a lot of traction. A lot of people enjoyed it. It got a lot of attention and validation, and people really liked it. And so because of that, I was like, oh wow, this is something that people actually care about. And so it motivated me to make more content and make UNU an entire thing. TMCR. Like UNU has surpassed anything that any of my Flansmod packs have ever been. Flansmod is a massive and influential mod, but I do think UNU has surpassed it in like the modern era of like Minecraft vehicle stuff. And that's all thanks to you, the people who create this community, the people who give me the motivation to keep going. Because, like I said, if nobody's, I mean, it might sound like some people might be like, oh, even if nobody made it, I'd still make it, and even if nobody cared, I would still make it. And I mean, I would still make some UNU content if nobody downloaded it, but because so many people enjoy it, it motivates me to make more, and UNU would not be what it is without everybody who has shown the wonderful support for it. So I want to thank you because, you know, it it is what it is because of the community support, because so many people enjoy it. That is what has motivated me to make UNU grow into what it is today. So that just wouldn't have been possible without everybody. But yeah, with that heartfelt soliloquy done, now's for the typical shelling crap at you. If you like this content, of course, I've got a Patreon you can support. You get early access to everything. And a special role on the Discord and all that fun stuff. I plan on revising the Patreon, making it more, making it better. So like, names appear on credits of videos I make. I want to add a new tier where you actually get sent like in-universe Blackthorn stuff. So, for example, I've got a couple manuals here. So the UNU user manual here of like the UNU Mastodon. I want to make more of these manuals and then print them out and actually have like real manuals that's sent. So actually, I want to flesh out the Patreon a bit. And then, of course, you can also sponsor vehicles. So I've got the sponsor of vehicle here in Nefarious Chat, in Nefarious Plans. And you can see there's about vehicles that were sponsored. But this is just like if you see a vehicle that you really want and you're like, I gotta get that in game, it adds it, makes it immediately added to the game. That's what this cabriolet model is. It was a sponsorship. And then, of course, you could always just, keep enjoying the UNU pack. That's the best way to support it, is just keep the community alive. So I want to thank you all so much for your support. I'll see if there are any last questions. Yeah, more sounds. Yep, I'll add more sounds, of course. There's actually a few more sounds I need to add. But yeah, like I said, version 6 of MTS, of UNU, I plan on adding, fleshing it out even more, making it compete with even more packs within MTS. And, doing my part to make UNU the best it could be, since you guys are doing your part in ensuring that everybody knows how great UNU is. So thank you so much for 1 million downloads, for helping UNU surpass the official pack, for making UNU the #1 MTS pack, and making it what it is. Because like I said, and I know I've already said this like 5 times, but I want to say it again because I can't send it home enough. UNU would not be what it is without the support of everyone who's helped make this community great. It's that kind of validation that keeps UNU going and motivates me to make UNU the best it can be, because I know a lot of people are rooting for UNU, a lot of people like it, and I can't let you down. I can't let UNU slip away and become some mediocre, out-of-date pack. UNU's got to stay on top because, it's this is how it is. UNU's the best. So, thank you for watching. Hope to see you again soon. And I don't know what else to say.